You can express your feelings in a toxic faith church, but only if they're positive. So if you have negative feelings, you feel negatively about anything, you do not have permission to do that. From New Life Ministries, this is Going Deeper with Stephen Arterburn. I'm Stephen Arterburn. And Going Deeper is all about taking the tough issues, the hard issues of life, looking a little bit deeper inside so that we can gain some insight into our lives. Hi, Steve Arterburn here. It's Going Deeper, and I'm glad you joined me here because we want to go deeper. We've been talking about toxic faith. What is that? Well, it's whenever our faith, rather than bring us closer to God, it's kind of poisonous and it hurts us. And people that are involved in a toxic faith system, otherwise known as a sick church, well, you can really have some damage done. So you might think, well, our church isn't toxic, it's just different. And our minister's just different than other people. Okay, so let's see if in your church you have to abide by, or some of the rules that I've found in a toxic faith system, if they exist in your particular church. And this first one, it's a big one. So here it is. The leader must be in control of every aspect at all times. So in a toxic system, the leader is everything. Big ego. There's a really popular TV preacher, and somebody was telling me that they were at a meeting at the White House, and he was there, and he didn't care. When it was his turn to speak, his handler was making sure his hair looked perfect, the makeup was on and all this, because he wanted to look good for thousands of people that would see him on TV. Didn't care that people near him thought he was weird. So it's all about that person, and they want to be in control of everything. So they don't really answer to anybody. If they have people on a board, it's an advisory board. It might sound like it's not, but it is. They become the big valuable thing, and they know that everybody knows if I walk out that door, you've got nothing here. So I'm going to be in charge. It's going to be my way, or you need to take the highway. But here's another thing. It's not just that. It happens in small little baby churches too. And of course, one of the examples I put in toxic faith was a guy over in Hawaii. Later, he went to work for a big, huge ministry that I was involved in. But he told people what toothpaste they could not use. Because this particular brand of toothpaste, there was a thing, it was like a moon and these stars on there, and it actually was a satanic symbol that was put there by the owner, who was a Satan worshiper. Absolutely, stupidly not true. But that's what he thought people needed to do, because he wanted to be in control of everything. There are others where you can't marry anybody unless the person in charge, your pastor, who's supposed to love you dearly, has approved of the person that you want to marry. In fact, some churches are so in control, they'll put you with somebody and they'll arrange the marriage just like in the old days. So if you're in a ministry where it doesn't seem like the minister's ministering to me, seems like we're ministering to the minister, well, then there's a big problem right there, and we got to deal with that. Now, the second thing is that when there is a problem that comes up in the church, this guy that has to be in control will find someone to blame and blame them. They will find the guilty party and blame them. And it will never be them. Be anything but them. But they are committed to finding whoever it is that's responsible and literally, quote unquote, nail them over this thing. And it's a really, really tough way to go, to be in that kind of a toxic faith system. You do something wrong, there's no grace, no mercy. Somebody has to be found guilty, has to be blamed, and has to be punished for it. Doesn't sound like a very grace-filled, love-filled church place, because it isn't. Third thing is, here's a rule. Don't make any mistakes. If you make a mistake, then you're making the minister look stupid. So everybody's got to be perfect. If you're not perfect, and perfect actually means loyal. That's what perfect means. Don't make a mistake of questioning or being disloyal. But if you'll be okay, loyal, perfect, no mistakes, then you're going to get to hang around a lot. The fourth one is never point out the reality of a situation. There was a big scandal with Jim Baker and people giving money to buildings that would never be built. And nobody had the freedom to say to Jim, this isn't going to work, not enough money here, and if you don't quit talking about it like this, you're going to go to jail. And he went to jail. Like the Crystal Cathedral. I mean, a guy that works for me was telling the folks at the Crystal Cathedral, if you don't get this spending thing under control, you're going to end up losing the Crystal Cathedral, and it's going to become a Catholic church. It became a Catholic church because nobody would listen and nobody else was willing to point out the reality of the situation. He was let go. He went on vacation and he received a letter, do not come back. That's pretty tough. But it kept that rule in force, don't point out the reality of a situation. And then you can express your feelings in a toxic faith church, but only if they're positive. So if you have negative feelings, you feel negatively about anything, you do not have permission to do that. You might be told that you have the demon of negativity. You have a critical spirit. What's wrong with you? Get with the program or get out. And so it's my way or go. And your negative feelings are kind of an evidence that you need to go. I think it's pretty easy to see that if somebody were in a church and these were the kind of rules that were there, this isn't a church that Jesus would just easily slip right into and be the senior pastor of. Because Jesus was full of grace and mercy, understanding of people. In fact, the only people that he really was down on were the big shots who were supposed to know better. The people that looked like they had it together, but they didn't have it together at all. And they lacked that one quality in authentic, real faith, the quality of humility. Next time we get together, I'll give you 5 more rules in a toxic faith system. Thanks for joining me today for Going Deeper. Thank you for joining me for Going Deeper. I hope something I've said may have helped just a little bit. If you have a question you'd like me to answer or comment, just email me at stevesocial@newlife.com. I'll see you next time.
If you want to support Going Deeper with Stephen Arterburn, be sure to subscribe so you never miss another episode. And if you know someone who would benefit from this episode, be sure to share it with them. See you on the next Going Deeper with Stephen Arterburn from New Life Ministries.